What's up guys, welcome back to another Dark Souls 2 Scour the First Sin walkthrough video. So I changed my character a little bit. I didn't really change any stats. I just gave her some different armor and unequipped my shield and stuff. I wanted to change the look a little bit, it was getting kinda stale. So I decided, hey, you know what, I'll do the character from the cover of the game. The knight in the Faram armor. And yeah, it's kind of a nice look. The sword isn't quite the same. I think in the cover he uses a normal long sword, but I'm going to use the sun sword because it's the same thing but better. And I went ahead and farmed a little bit and got the armor up to plus 10 each piece, which now makes my defense really high. And I'm almost at the threshold of 70% carry weight, so I can still medium rule. But if anything happens, I'm going to slow down. So we are on to the side bosses for Broom Tower, and I'm going to warn you now, these runs suck. I die a lot. I died probably 5 or 6 times doing this run because I forgot about a couple things, and there's kind of 2 ways you can do this. I'm going to show you kind of the first way I decided to try and go. And then I'm probably going to edit the video, speed it up, or cut out some stuff, and get to the boss fight itself. So if you pull this lever, you can run down this hallway, and your goal is to get to this gate here before it closes. Apparently, if it's more than like halfway down, you can't run through it, even though I could have clearly gotten through that, gap there. So the game screwed me, now I'm running away. Also, there's a spellcaster who makes you a little bit more over encumbered, and since I'm on that threshold, I was fat rolling. So let's just start out there with, like, it's not a cool run. So I'm just going to speed this up here, and you're going to see the other types of stuff I've done to try and get past this. Pull this lever again, and this time I accidentally rolled into the wrong spot, so I try to port out, that doesn't work. Heal again, port out this time, go back, rest of course to get the flasks back, go back in here, nope, didn't make it, port back out. Now since I'm being over encumbered, I decide, hey, I'll take the armor off, that'll make me run a little faster. Plus I'll be able to roll. And I managed to make it that time. And this asshole here is the one that's making me slow. So you kill him, and you're like, cool, I got past that part. Shouldn't have to do that again. And you run out here. A couple side enemies. Only this one's really the one that you have to worry about. We'll pick up that item there. Run along. And there's another lever, which means you have to make another corridor run. Checking each one of these. There's only 3 guys in this hallway. And there's a couple items. So, you can't do anything. You can't get him close and try and kill him to the wall. I think there's a spell you can do to try and hurt them a little bit, but I don't have that, and I don't think I can use it. So I decided to run for it. That didn't work. I got caught in a room. And yeah, so now you come back here and you try to do this run again. Which, actually, I kind of got the hang of it, so I managed to get past this again. So I ran back this way. Forgot about that. So came back, battled this person. Grab the souls. Pull the lever. Try to make it past here, get hung up on a guy, get hit, don't make it through the door. It's really stupid how that gate doesn't let you through if it's like more than halfway down. So I kill them, and I decide I'm going to throw my armor back on, screw these runs, I'm just going to grab this item. That's a Simpleton Spice, which is kind of rare, and that's 5 torches. So the Simpleton Spice is really the best thing there. From here, I decide I'm just gonna run, as if I didn't do these side paths. Which is fine, you can totally do that. You're just gonna miss maybe a few items. And don't worry, I'll make this run later, and I'll keep the speed normal so you can kind of see in depth what's going on. So you go through this fog here, and you're gonna run into the Smelter Demon. Except this time he's blue, and he's quote-unquote the aged Smelter Demon. And the only reason why he can be called that is because you can actually make his sword like you could make the normal Smelter Demon's sword, but it's called the aged Smelter Sword. And he is about the same, except he has a couple more AoEs that he does. And, well, AoEs is area of effect. Figured I should just mention that. Like there, when he goes into that phase, he's going to do one there. He seems to do a lot more damage. And his sword, when he lights that on fire, gets extra range. Plus, he also changes phases really early on. You roll in here, try to dodge his attacks. Pretty much other than that, he's the normal Smelter Demon. But he does more damage, and it's just kind of a tough run to get here. And so when I was actually battling him, I'm more or less worried about what if I die, because then I'm going to have to do that run again, which I end up dying. So I did have to make that run all over again. So there's a sword. It's much longer than the normal ones. You can see just how long that fire is. It's basically like a giant blue lightsaber. And you can see just how much damage he's doing to me right now. And that's how you die. His sword and his swings have a lot of extra range and do a ton of damage. Plus, you're still getting the burn effect if you're too close to him. He's got a lot of health, or at least he's got pretty decent armor, so it seems like he's got a lot of health. So you're going to be doing this battle, and I'm just going to speed it up now, because I die. So I get hit. Keep going, keep going. He's only at half health, too. Keep going. And I died. Now I have to make that run all over again. And I put on Flash Sweat because that'll give you fire resistance. I believe his blue flame does a little bit of magic. So, you might want maybe some magic defense. I'm not certain of that though. What I do know is, on my way there, I died. So if you were going the normal way, like I just tried, and I know that was super fast, so you could slow the YouTube video down to like half the speed. If you try to do the normal run here, you can die. This is what I was trying to avoid, because there's just a lot of guys in your way. But the other way sucks too, because you run into corridors and stuff like that. So I'm going to put my armor on as I get in here. I'm going to try and dodge, and that was a great start. I'll just get hit again. I do manage to beat him this time, though. I just have to kind of get into the fight here for a second, because I still need to put on my buff. So now I will have greater fire resistance. Not that he can really burn me, but I've only hit him twice, and now he's changed into phase 2. He's still got a ton of his health left. So that's kind of why I put it on, because, like I said, he can switch phases pretty much any time he wants. There's no, like, halfway marker. That was 2 hits in, so... just go ahead and try and dodge his attacks here. Other than that, it's pretty much the normal Smelter Demon fight. I'll power up again by shoving his sword in his stomach. That'll light it on fire. There's no AoE, nothing to really worry about. And now he's got this super extended range. So really, it's probably better if you're closer to it, because his sword can almost reach across the whole arena. course, watch out for AoEs when he does the jump attacks, because sometimes he does it and sometimes he doesn't. I'm just going to put Flash Sweat back on. I can't actually tell if that's helping, but in my mind it is. So he's at half health, but one swing there almost killed me. Key thing is to try and stay calm. Don't worry too much about what if you die and, you know, the run you're gonna have to make to get back here. I was worrying too. But try to stay calm, because usually when you worry, that's how you get into trouble. So I was still able to heal and save myself, but I'm still about a swing away from death. He hit me with that jump attack there. That did a lot of damage. Maybe if I didn't have Flash Sweat, I could have died. So, maybe it helped. And I'll go ahead, hit him a few more times here. Really not doing that much damage to him. Plus, you can't run in close and attack him like that because he's doing an AoE. The good thing is that slam down like that, you can typically just keep running sideways and he should miss you. With that stagger, he's really close now. Don't try to rush the attack. Just go in there, wait for your opening, and kill him. And that is the aged Smelter Demon. You're going to get another Smelter Demon soul. And you can use that to make his sword. It doesn't really matter if you go to Ornifex, you make the aged Smelter Demon sword, which I believe it tells you aged Smelter sword. And then if you go to Strayed, you make the normal one. And it's kind of cool because then you can power stance those two Smelter swords, and you'll have a fire one that's all red and orange, and the blue one too. So our reward from doing that is this Pharaoh's Mask, which really isn't that great. But it drenches you in water so that you have higher fire resistance. You can see I'm leaving these wet footprints everywhere, and that's the indication that, you know, the effect is applied. Also, I think your armor gets a little bit more wet, so I'll just take that off. Really, there are fire platforms in Iron Keep where items are kind of crappy to get to. Drenching yourself in water, wearing high fire resistant armor, and all that stuff can help you get those items without dying. So that's almost what I think they intended for that mask to be used for, is just like those platforms in Iron Keep. Anyway, so I'm going back to Majula. I'm gonna use these souls, because the next run is kind of awful too. It's not terrible, not as terrible as the one we just did, but I can't say it's very good either. There's a lot of Alonne Knights, the guys with the katanas, and they also have great bows too. So you'll find yourself in some corridors where there's some great bow ones shooting at you, and then you can find yourself being surrounded by 2 or 3 of these Alonne Knights. I died 2 times getting to this boss. That's because I ran around and tried to grab everything. So again, really when I run in here, I'm gonna speed everything up again, just to try and cut the video length down, because normally this thing's like 45 minutes. Nobody wants to watch me die. So there's a couple phantoms in here to help you run through here, which I usually summon, just to get through the area. And then once I get through the area without dying or whatever, I usually send them back home, but I figured I could run through here normally. So with the flame salamanders, you can shoot them with your bow or whatever in the weak, orange area, or you can run behind them and kill them. doesn't really matter which way you do it. It just means if you shoot them with the bow, that they're not going to bother you while you're fighting these guys. Which, they're just kind of annoying because I'm trying to hit them and stagger them, and my sword's just a little too short. That's where great swords are really handy. That's where the first salamander would have been. That was rusted coin times 3. That's where this salamander would have been. And now there's one more and an Alonne captain. You go ahead and take him out. He dropped a helmet. And then you can beat on the salamander from back here. Nothing back here though. And they all come back if you die or leave the area. So it's not really helpful. But down here now, they ran down the stairs to chase me. So as soon as I get a backstab on that one there, I decide to run down here, try and get away, and now I'm getting surrounded, and I died. I'm also, like, just 1 or 2 hits away from killing them in, like, 2 or 3 hits. So it's kind of annoying when they have, like, a fraction of a health bar where I could throw, like, a throwing knife and kill them. But that time I didn't even make it that far. Really, if you don't care too much about the items in this area, I recommend just trying to run past everything. I'm going to show you what they are just in case they're interesting to you. So, in this room, you get the rusted coins, 3 of them. And in the next area, you'll pick up a twin blade plus 7. So if you really want that, because you don't want to invest the upgrade material into a twin blade, that's down here, actually. I'm just running around now trying to get away from these knights. But it seems like, you know, you run up here to try and get away from the other guys, and there's like 3 archers up here, and then there's like 4 or 5 guys normally, and they're all kind of scattered out. So anywhere you try to run to get away from other people, you usually end up just pissing off more people. So that's what's happening here is I'm running through here, and I've got a lot of these guys wounded, but I can't kill them because there's another one that's in my way. I got shot by an arrow while I was killing those 2 guys. Now you can pick up all these items. They're not really that great. They were just a few iron great arrows, some repair powder, and old radiant life gem. So that stuff not great. And back around that corner, this happened really fast, so you might want to go back like a few seconds and slow it down. But around a corner, I just picked up the twin blade. That's at plus 7. So I teleport out. And I run through here, trying to skip everything. Roll, roll, roll. Another bow guy. Roll. Get in here, and now we're gonna fight Sir Alonne, who is, you know, the captain of all these knights. And this is a pretty sweet fight. The music's awesome, the floor and the arena are awesome, because everything's all, like, shiny and reflective and stuff. He does some really fast attacks like that, and I was trying to dodge them, but I got the timing wrong. You'll get used to it after a little bit. But again, that's not a fun run to do again if you happen to die. And he's really good with tracking you. If you move left, he's gonna turn so that he's always facing directly in front of you. And that glowy sword thing is his grab attack. He impales you with it and it powers him up. So you don't want that to happen. Really, a lot of his attacks are like, wait a second and then roll. Like, he put his hand behind his head with his sword there, and then he swung down and did the overhead swing. You can just kind of wait a second and then roll. Like that dash attack, he was dashing towards me, and basically right when he gets to you, you roll. And he'll clear this arena in less than a second, so it's really just wait a moment. That jump attack somehow hit me, I'm not sure how, but it got me. A lot of times he'll do kind of what Rame the Fume Knight did, where he does like an attack and then he jumps away or something and follows up with like another thrust. Velstadt also did that. So you can't really trust him when he misses an attack to just go in and swing, because a lot of times he'll follow it up with some sort of defensive thing. He jumped across the entire room and then does this dash. Usually the major ones, like a huge dash across the room, a jump attack like that, that kind of thrusting grab attack, those are all ones where you'll have a little bit of time to do something. But normal swings, typically you don't have enough time to do anything because he'll follow it up somehow. I'm actually kind of surprised he keeps doing all these ones that leave him wide open. But like, there's a horizontal, a jump, a thrust, all in the span of like 2 seconds. So he's only got a few hits left. That jump attack actually was really quick and unexpected. He's actually weaker to blunt weapons. He's fairly resistant to swords and stuff, so I'm kind of outclassed right now. And a little fun fact about him is that if you actually manage to kill him without taking any damage, he commits seppuku, which is the one where they stab themselves in the stomach with their own sword or katana. It was like a samurai thing, and that was like because they felt like they dishonored people, or they'd rather go out honorably than die at the hands of their foe. But I got hit multiple times, so I guess he felt honorable and he just kind of died. Anyway, on that chair back in that corner is the last smelter wedge you need. So wherever you left an Ashen Idol, I left mine by the boss room. Wherever you left yours, you're going to want to go and stab that thing. That way you can get the last shard of the soul. So we picked up the last shard, and then it says, we just got the soul. It says, we picked up a soul, and then we got a soul. And now it says, Nadalia is no more. The true soul of Nadalia has been acquired. So really, all of that gave us, like, another boss soul. We can actually make stuff from it. Actually, that soul can be used to make, like, one of the most expensive things, which is a pyromancy called Outcry. That's like 45,000 souls. You can also make, like, a chime that's 20,000, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to run back to Ornifex, and I think I'm going to cash in that free coupon right now. Just because I'm getting to the point where it's getting near the end of the game, and I should probably start picking up all the boss stuff I haven't. That includes armors and stuff. So I figured I'll come in here and I'll use it on something that's like 10,000 or more souls typically. Okay, with everything dead. So now I can make all these things. Up in the top right is the aged Smelter sword. And I'm not going to get that right now. I think I'll make the King shield. It has a stability of like 55, which is almost on par with a Great Shield. So I'm going to probably make that for my free weapon. There's a lot of other things I can make though. And pretty much all these bottom things are expensive. The King Shield's like 10,000. The Chime of Screams, which you can make from Nadalia's soul, is like 20,000. The Woeful Axe that you can make from Alonne from the Sunken King DLC, that's like 24,000 here. Bewitched Alonne sword is 18,000, so it's all expensive. Little lore on him, it says he came from the east, and he kind of just joined the Old Iron King. And it's kind of interesting, on him, he just came from the east, he found the Old Iron King, and he decided to stick by. And because of Alonne, the Old Iron King actually conquered lands and united his kingdom and everything, and became a fearsome king. And then Alonne left him and went off on his own separate journey after a little while. And there's a lot of heavy lore stuff about all the DLCs and what happens and whatnot. I'm not going to get too much into that, but there are a lot of videos out there if you're interested in what happened, why the tower is all dark, why is Rain there, what happened to the Old Iron King, all of that. So I just bought Outcry. That's 45,000 souls. And I've got a lot of things I can make from other boss souls. I really haven't cashed in any. I think like maybe 2. I'll buy the Dragon Rider stuff. You can make 4 different weapons. I'm going to choose the Twin Blade and the bow. You can make the shield and the halberd too. I'll make the Pursuer's Ultra Great Sword. And that's the Smelter Sword. I'll make sure I pick 1. I don't want 2 normal ones. Chariot Lance from the Executioner's Chariot. Bone Scythe from the Covetous Demon. Halberd from the Skeleton Lords. Giant Stone Axe and Gargoyle Bident from those bosses. The Giant and the Gargoyles. Sunlight Blade, just in case you didn't pick it up in Shrine of Amana. Affinity. Those are both really expensive. And now I'm pretty much out of souls. So yeah, I'll go back to Majula, and I think I'll actually show off some of these new pyromancies we got from the DLC. Because they're kind of cool. So I started walking over here. I was thinking about ending it, and then I decided, you know what, I'll go ahead and do the pyromancy thing. I needed an extra attunement slot. A lot of pyromancies cost 2 or 3 slots. Well, typically I think they only cost 2 at max. And then like sorceries and stuff can cost more. So I'll put on the Southern Ritual Band, which will allow me to equip some other spells. They'll give me extra attunement slots. So that's Fire Snake. We picked that up in one room of cursing. Not the tower that gave us cursing, but that room kind of before the like main reactor. Dance of Fire, you picked that up earlier in Broom Tower, kind of hidden, but you can see it kind of goes off to the side there. It's got a huge horizontal range. Then Outcry, which is super expensive, is like Firestorm, except it's faster and all those do more damage. Is it worth 45,000 souls? Probably not, but it's better than the Chime of Screams, in my opinion, so I'll just put on probably Great Fire Orb, Great Fireball, whatever. And now I think that'll be the end of the video. So next time we'll go ahead and start Crown of the Ivory King, and I'll see you there.